Commander, you've rained on my glorious parade. For this, I'm sending everything I've got at you. But I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well, and I hope you're having a lovely day, in fact. And you join me today in space. Yes, that's right, you hear me correct. In space. In World of Warships, no less. More like World of Spaceships. Now, I've not tried out this mode yet, I've only just unlocked it, so this is new to me as well as it is to you. So something a bit different. But it seems the time of year is upon us, with naval, of course, being a thing. And it seems this year World of Warships is going for a space-themed look. Now, first of all, we have space itself. We get a spaceport, which is actually very pretty. We get a few unique things, like with the emblems. We actually get a unique emblem that we can choose. I managed to get the penguin being abducted via a spaceship. So we get some unique things. There's lots more of these things as well actually available in different missions. You'll unlock containers as you do the missions in space. So with the containers, as you unlock them, you sort of get a few different bits and bobs out of them, and just general stuff. So it's a nice little bit of fun, and nice little spaceship there. We've got a perfectly good little flying saucer going around us. Now these are the battleships. Now these are the big boys of space. So these are your giant galactic class battleships, and I unlocked this while playing with Leon. So first of all we have the Paris. Now, Paris is the first heavy combat spacecraft of the Federation to be propelled by a warp drive. Images of the open-worked structure of her turret are often used to create propaganda materials. And as you can see, the turrets are very beautiful with their open-worked structure. It looks like we've got rail guns on board. Let's have a look at our artillery. So we have a 431 megawatt gun. It looks like it's a laser system rather than a rail gun technology, so possibly laser shells we're using. I'm not actually sure yet, as I said, not taking it out. Maybe we'll take it out. I wonder if we can take it out in training, perhaps. No, don't think they'll have the space areas in the training rooms, so we won't worry about training. We'll just take it out properly. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. We'll exit that. So with this, we've got our main battery, our secondary armament of 127 megawatt 54 Phoebe cannons. We've got the Titan cannons on board, the Ra, and we've also got AAA defense as well to save us from those pesky little spacecraft. I imagine they'll be tiny little fighters. Good speed, only a maximum speed of 30 knots, so not the fastest of spaceships in the universe. But it is interesting nonetheless. We also get some rather neat captains as well. Here I have Captain Hazra, and he is, of course, the Great. Hazra is obviously a lizard person. I approve of this, hence why I've chosen this ship. So we'll we'll just should we do? We'll unlock some skills first of all, because it is a 19-point captain. We won't worry about superintendent, I don't think. Let's just go back to port and have a little bit of a look at this ship, what we got on board for the modules. May as well upgrade that magazine while we're at it. So the high explosive shells and the armor piercing, we get a heal of course, and we get an engine boost. And we can't swap them out for premium. But oddly we can add the magazine rack to it, so that is a bit strange. Exterior, we can of course add some flags on board. What we actually get for opening them is the Erebus flags. These are from the crates. Gives us 777 free experience. Now, what's the range of our secondaries? Well, we've got quite a good range on those secondaries. Let's add some secondary. Let's go for a secondary build up here. So we'll go for a pretty big secondary build-up. How many flags are we allowed on this thing? 8. So maneuverability. I'm using India Yankee, and I think, last but not least, we'll use an India Delta. And we will fly with pride our Doggo flag. Doggo flag, fly proud. So let's just keep making up this guy. So let's go with basic fire training. And we're going to go for that advanced firing training on the manual fire control of the secondaries. I don't think we're going to get many anti-aircraft, so I'm not going to really worry about that system. How many have we got left? We've got 9 left. So let's go high alert. Let's get expert marksman. And I think we will actually go superintendent. And last but not least, we will go priority target and expert loader. Okay, probably a terrible loadout there, but I don't really care. Okay, well, let's get to the main event, what we've all been waiting for. Let us just go back to the port, and I'll just quickly show you the secondary spaceship we have in our fleet, which is an older version, the All Destroyer. which was a conventional heavy warship of the Federation's enemy, built a long time ago in a far-off galaxy, vulnerable to bombers. Pretty poor AA, very big guns. This looks like the big old gunship. Pretty good range on the secondaries as well, actually. This thing is pretty much the big secondary build as well, so it will be interesting to see how we go for the secondaries. The All-Destroyer is the better secondary ship. Comparing the stats, though, we have better AAA defense, but as I said, I don't think we're going to need it that much. The All-Destroyer seems to have less artillery, just from the basic stats. Survivability is about the same, but the Paris seems like a overall better ship, or better spacecraft. So let's see what happens when we take it out into battle. So April Fool's is approaching on us. Jeebus, there's a lot of people in the queue for this, with a lot of battleships there. Not many destroyers, obviously. Maybe I'll have to unlock them next and have a look at them. So, April Fool's is approaching us, so this is Wargaming's effort with World of Warships, of course. So, World of Spaceships, apparently. Does leave me to wondering what else we will get, of course, because usually World of Tanks does a pretty good one, but the big one is going to be War Thunder, because that usually indicates what they're doing in the future. So, with Wargaming, usually they will release a sort of basically a tech demo. They have for the last few years. Remember, we got pirate ships, and then we got naval. We got modern tanks. Now we have modern era tanks. I wonder if it will be modern jets this year, and possibly helicopters. Maybe some interesting missiles. There have been some interesting looking leaks from reputable sources with information and details of, well, basically guided missiles for the game. So I do wonder if we will get a guided missile system. That will be very interesting to see. Maybe they'll do something similar to World of Warships and have a space battle with guided missiles or something like that, just to do a proof of concept of the technology. Or maybe we will get modern jets, which would be pretty darn cool if you ask me. I wouldn't actually mind just having helicopters and the super modern tanks again, in all honesty. They outdid themselves last year, but we will wait and see. And obviously it's a relatively long queue, so we'll do a bit of waiting here. There are actually quite a few, well, there's 4 aircraft carriers to almost 100 battleships and 100 cruisers. So obviously the battleships and the cruisers are the big interest at the moment. Now, to get these, you actually need to play and win 2 matches in a regular ship to unlock your spaceships. Once you do that, you then unlock your general spaceships, and then you can do some more to unlock some new ones. So, we've got a Hellcarrier. So, Spaceport Hellcarrier. So 2 of those. Oh, that was a bit quick. Now, of course, we do not have any up or down movements. We have got this rather fetching looking ship, though, which appears to be, well, the warp drive does look a little bit like water at the back of it. So, very interesting. Now, we have got, how many guns have we got there? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 8 guns, it looks like. Let's switch to AP here. And we've got a meteor shower coming in at us. The meteor shower's over to our right there. We probably don't want to get caught up in that because it looks like it could be nasty. So we're going to start turning away and start heading away from that meteor shower. Now let's activate our speed boost here. So we have a Galaxy class cruiser out there, and that's a relatively nice looking ship. These do sort of look very, very futuristic, of course. Destroyers are relatively neat looking. A couple of parries out there. There we go. The green plasma-like shells have been launched on that Paris. And don't think we got a hit. Not the most satisfying zap of the guns. We managed to get 2 hits there on the enemy version of us. And a couple of hits on that Norma as well. The cruiser class. Hopefully our shield generators will hold up. Some nice damage there to that Paris. So it seems like almost we almost have a shield generator on us, but we seem to penetrate that relatively well. We are being targeted here by the enemy. So there is a static screen being placed up. Get another broadside off on this Paris. We are taking a bit of damage here now. Let's use our heal. A little bit short there, I think. Well, it's a very interesting mode, but I would say it's not the most it's not overly different to a normal game of World of Warships, in all honesty. It just feels a bit like World of Warships with a few more shiny bits added. Sadly, as you can see, the rippling effects of the water are still there. It's not really spacey. There's no X and Y axis, of course. It is just on the horizontal plane. Fire off our plasma charges there and see what we can do. Very nice hit there on the forward section of that Paris, which is taking a bit of a pummeling by the looks of it. It's strayed away from the rest of its fleet. Another couple of okay-ish hits there. It's not optimal what we're firing at right now, of course. I'll start turning in towards it to give our armour a little bit of an advantage. Or our shield generators, I guess you could call them. Not really sure if we call it shields or armour in this. It would have been nice to actually have a shield effect. We have a lot of torpedoes incoming. A lot of proton torpedoes coming in. Really didn't notice that. But we didn't do too badly there. We managed to Basically hit every single one of them, but we didn't die, so that was good. Obviously torpedoes are not that effective in space. We did get an oxygen leak by the looks of it, but we are okay. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Now that Paris is presenting us with a broadside. Can we punish it? No, we can't. This we might actually get one shot in on it. Now some star bombers there just set us ablaze, but we've managed to take them out. We managed to take them all out. Now there is a Norma around the corner here. Seems we may have discovered the enemy carrier's location. Towards this way somewhere, I'd say. Some heavy damage there. The bombs are probably the more effective of the weaponry. We've taken some serious damage here. We are on fire as well, because fire, of course, does burn rather well in space. See if we can punish this Norma here, turning away from us. Not going to do too much to this guy. It's turning back in on us though. We may, I don't know if you can get citadels in this mode. Nothing major, nothing interesting there. We will start a repair though. Our spaceship has taken some serious damage. More torpedoes incoming. We're going to take a big hit to the bow, which has given us a breach in our hull's integrity. Yes, you can get citadels. Yeah, that punished that Norma severely there. But it's going to get away from us. It's turning back on us. So let's see if we can't get a few more big old hits to that spaceship. It's put up a bit of a smoke screen. We are still detected by planes, of course. And we're going to get a lot of those torpedoes coming in again. But hopefully we will be able to take this guy out before we explode. A little bit late. The ship has gone down or up. I'm not too sure how to describe that. It seems our team was a bit separated, and we got a bit of a beating there. So this is the Galaxy cruiser. Escape pods on the side are a nice little touch. Interesting looking sort of designs. We've seen the Paris, of course, and there's the spacecraft carrier. Again, interesting looking. It's not super groundbreaking. There's the attack spaceships, of course. So I'm not sure if that was an attack fighter or if they were attack torpedo bombers. Space torpedo bombers. Kind of interesting looking. I must admit, it's a bit underwhelming, this mode. It's not anything too to write home about, really. It's kind of cool, but it's not as the fighters. It's not. It's a bit like a reskin, basically. There's been some effort put into the designs, of course. They do look kind of interesting, but I don't particularly like the grid map having the square pattern on the in space. It kind of takes away a little bit. Paris is doing a much better job than I was. It didn't help that their carrier focused upon us quite as much. Very nice hits there, but this Paris does not look like it's going to survive many more hits from this guy. Got one last salvo off, and not much happened, unfortunately, and that is the end of that one. So yeah, somehow these ships seem to sink normally, in space, of course, because that's how space works. Is your ship just slowly sinks downwards, and it looks like the carrier is about to get absolutely annihilated. Yeah, as you can probably tell by my voice, it's a bit underwhelming, really. It's not that... It doesn't feel that sort of special. I'm guessing the meteor shower does a lot of damage if you're in it, so that's kind of a neat concept, I guess. Maybe they could add that to typhoons and things like that, to storms, to allow for actual damage to happen in a heavy storm, because of course your ship would take some heavy damage in a storm sometimes when it's rolling and being pounded by the waves, so forth, but don't really know. It's not... I wouldn't say this is groundbreaking, really. Let's just move to the free camera here. We'll follow these little space fighters and space torpedo launchers in, and looks like they've done their launching and bits and bobs. Oh good, we can actually finally have a look at the Blue Aster, which is one of the destroyers there. So there's one of the destroyers. So rather conventional looking spaceship, really, compared... Looks very much like a you know, World War II era destroyer, in all honesty. It doesn't look very spaceship-like to me, to be honest with you. Let's have a bit of a closer look at the Norma. The adversary. The Norma looks a bit better. It looks a little bit more spaceship-like. Although, I don't understand why the spaceships don't appear to have any guns below decks. Because, of course, in space you can be attacked from both above and below. So, it is interesting that that isn't a feature of them. But we lose this game, of course. Surprisingly enough. Well, that was my first game of World of Spaceships. And we got the Pokil. Caused more than 1,961 hit points of damage to the enemy in one space battle. That is beautiful. 1961, of course, was a launch for the... I think it was the actual name of the what do you call it? Satellite. And not overly assaultive individual, and more than 999 base experience. And we get a reward for that. So we get some rewards at least. Not too bad, we got some money out of it. Let's see how we did. We didn't do too badly in the team. We finished pretty high up all in all. Didn't manage any kills, but we did get some... We did manage to take down a few spaceships, I guess you'd call them. Let's just head back to port and see what we get. So yeah, it's neat looking, I must admit. it is kind of neat looking. It does look sort of cool in its aesthetics, of course. But I must admit it's a bit underwhelming. If you're going to make spaceships, don't make them... It just... It bothers me a little bit, this design, right? Well, not just a little bit. We'll look at both of these battleships, right? Now, I can understand putting all of the heavy objects on one side, say, because if you're on a planetary the gravity of a planet, for instance, you might want to keep certain side pointing one way. But realistically, with a spaceship, you're all degrees of movement, so forwards, backwards, up, down, left, right, you know, everywhere. So it does almost look like there's a kraken under there. That's quite interesting. But yeah, in all honesty, why wouldn't there be guns underneath this thing? Because it would have to have guns underneath it as well, and just, you know, it's the propulsion's all going underneath, of course, you know, but again, where's the vertical propulsion for it? Now this one, you do get... The Paris, of course, is based more on a French battleship, I think, because it gets that speed boost. This one seems to be the more useful of the spacecraft. Didn't even check, actually. No, we just get the one gun option. So we do actually get the 420mm gun option with this one, which gives you some bigger guns. You get hydroacoustics. Yeah, hydroacoustics in a spaceship. Yep, because hydro. You do get spotting aircraft, and you get repair party. So in all honesty, this is probably the better spacecraft to take out, just because of the spotting aircraft. It also has a few more guns as well. You've got 12 guns in all. Imagine they don't fire quite as fast, but the all-destroyer does seem like the better option. Not on paper, but in general use. The AA defense I wouldn't worry too much about. Because obviously these are based off of real life ships, so I'm just trying to think what this would be. I know it's not a Yamato. Not a Montana. It's just. Is it a Frederick the Great? Maybe it's the Conqueror. It kind of has a similar resemblance to the Conqueror, I guess. There are a few static changes, of course, but it does look a bit like the Conqueror, and similar sort of gun upgrades. I'm sure I'm sure I am wrong, so do let me know in the comments. Definitely not a Farragut, that is for sure. I did click on the Grosser car first, didn't I? Yeah, so it's not the Grosser Kerr first either. So yeah, I'd say it's a Conqueror maybe. Sort of design aspects of that Conqueror to it maybe. But yeah, it's This video's dragging on a little bit as I mumble on, but yeah, overall it's a bit underwhelming, I must admit. Look, it's a bit of fun, so enjoy yourself while it lasts. It is kind of neat, so I do tip my hat, but it's not anything super special. There we go, yeah, just in a normal port, you can see they just look like normal ships, really. Which is a big shame. I think they could have done a lot more with the design. Of course, there's game limitations. You can't add flying mechanics in there and stuff like that, but maybe have gun batteries on the top and the bottom or something to make it feel a little bit less ship-like. You know, it doesn't need to be tapered in as much. You could have it more rounded or things like that. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. Let's just see what experience we got from the Paris. So we got 1,003 experience from that, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it is a bit meh, in all honesty. So I do look forward to seeing what other games decide to bring out. Okay, guys, well that's my look at the April Fool's World of Warships side of things. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's a little bit of a depressing one, I think, at the end. But let me know in the comments below what you think, and if you've had a go in it, let me know what you think as well. I will catch you next time. Bye bye.
Three days later.
Oh, God.